Okay, so it is Tuesday, January 28th, and it is 5:31, and calling the Personnel Commission meeting to order.
And we need to note for the record that it's a special meeting of the commission.
Yes.
So this is not our normal meeting date.
But yes, it is a special meeting. Okay. Moving on to roll call.
Commissioner Bronze,
Here.
Commissioner Cummins here. Commissioner Eddie Mitchell is noted as absent. She is not feeling well, and Commissioner Harp.
Here. Okay. Report on posting the agenda.
The agenda for the special meeting was posted on January 26, 2025 at 8:38 a.m.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, communications by members of the public for items not on the agenda. Public comment by members of the public on items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Personnel Commission. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. This portion of the meeting is reserved for person desiring to address the commission on matters not on the agenda. The law does not permit commission action or extended discussion on any item not on the agenda except under special circumstances. If commission action is requested, the commission may place the matter on a future agenda. Are there any comments from the public?
I do have a public comment. So my name is Susanna Ramirez. I am the president for the AFSCME General Unit. And I am here to ask the Personnel Commission to look into the vacancy for a senior CIP engineer position, which is currently closed for recruitment. While this role is not within the AFSCME General Bargaining Unit, its absence profoundly impacts our members and the overall functionality of our department. The senior CIP engineer position has been unfilled for almost 3 years, leading to a significant operational gap in the CIP section. This role is not only vital for overseeing essential functions, but also providing critical work assignments, training, and performance evaluations to our team members. And filling this vacancy should be a top priority to ensure we maintain the quality of our services and support of our staff. I strongly encourage the committee to look into the recruitment process for this key position with any necessary changes to the recruitment process in order to get a qualified candidate. I thank you for your prompt attention to this important.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
since it's not on the agenda, we can't take any action, but you guys can just take in that information.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Susanna. Any other comments from the public? No? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, approval of minutes.
And the minutes from the meeting of November 25th, 2024 are included within your packets. Please advise if any changes or corrections are needed. Okay. And they're to be approved.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from
November.
November 25th. 2024.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, item number 4, Human Resources Director's Report.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to report on tonight is just to let the commission know that the council did conduct another round of interviews for boards and commissions last night. And at their meeting of February 3rd, they will be making appointments to the various commissions. So we will know more after that date as to who will be filling the seats on this particular commission. And then I also wanted to share with the commission that just today we commenced a employee engagement survey to gather some information from our employees about their work here at the city and things that they like about working here or things that could be better. And so that will give us some insightful information as we move forward with the next 2-year budget process. So that is 2 things I wanted to report on.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Item number 5, informational item. 5.1 is recruitment and employment status report.
So in your packet, you have the usual recruitment and employment status report for January 2025. The chart on page 1 are recruitments that we currently have open right now, and we're taking in applications. And then some of them are continuous recruitments or open until filled. And then the bottom of page 1 going on to page 2 are recruitments that are in process where we have candidates at various other steps in the hiring process. Might be that they're in background check or have interviews coming up or whatever it might be. So we have several things that are in the works. And then the middle of page 2 are our hires and promotions that happened since your last meeting, as well as some separations, 3 of which were retirements. And I think they were all recognized last night at the council meeting. So happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Item 5.2, 2025 budget and work plan training.
Yeah, so I wanted to just remind the commission that as we head into the budget process for this year, which is really for fiscal year 26 and 27, we're doing the work in 25, but it's for fiscal years 26 and 27 because we do a 2-year budget process here at City of Gilroy. We're going to be asking all of the commissions to update their work plan and any training that they feel they need for that 2-year period, so we can be sure to incorporate those into our planning and budgeting. Just something for you to have on your radar and to give some thought to. We'll get some more details that will be coming up at a future meeting. But we've done this in prior years when we've been working on budget. Where we get that input from boards and commissions for things that are needed to do the work of the commission. So just know that that will be coming through the process as we work on our next 2-year budget.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Item number 6, unfinished business. I don't believe there's anything under this. Okay, item number 7, new business, 7.1, job description update for property and evidence technician.
So in your packet this evening, you have updates to our property and evidence technician job description. This one had not been reviewed since 2002 because we've had the same person in the job for a really long time. It should have been looked at sooner, but it is what it is. But the person who's been in this job for a very long time is going to be retiring at the end of April. And so she's given us that notice. And so we're going to be commencing a recruitment to fill this position. So I asked the police department to please take a look at the job description and review it and make sure it's current. And so the police captain who oversees the records unit, coupled with the incumbent who's currently in the job, went through the job description and provided some updates and changes to make it a current and accurate reflection of the work being performed. And then there's just some other administrative changes that we made as well to just make it current. So those are all in track changes format in the attached job description. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So this cleanup so that we go into the recruitment process with a fresh description. We haven't recruited this position in a very long time.
I was gonna say, so did you guys also look at comparable salaries? Does there need to be any salary adjustment?
We did not look at that. We have an adopted salary range. So we are going to commence the recruitment with the salary range, which has, received, the normal cost of living increases, et cetera. And if we have any challenges with that recruitment process, we'll determine if any other changes are needed. But for now, it was just cleaning up the job description. You can take public comment. You want to see if there's any public comment.
Is there any public comment? No? Any comments or questions from the commission?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description for property and evidence tax.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Item 7.2, job description updates for police captain.
So similar to the previous item, we went through and requested so that there be an update to the police captain job description, because we will be commencing a recruitment for this position. We have an upcoming retirement. And so we want to go into that recruitment process with a fresh job description. This one hadn't been updated since December of 2014. So it needed some review. The police chief as well as the captains looked at this and provided some input. The GMA group also reviewed it and didn't have any changes that they felt were necessary. So it's just some cleanup in the job description. Not anything too significant. And if you'll note on page 9, in the requirements, training, experience, and qualifications, Post made a change this last year that you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be a sworn peace officer. So that had to be removed from requirements. So you're going to be seeing some other cleanup to other sworn police job descriptions. They're going through all of them right now to make sure everything's cleaned up and in compliance.
Okay, are there any comments from the public regarding this job description? Any comments or questions from the commission? We can make a motion to approve the job description updates for police captain.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Item 7.3.
Yes,
Job,
it's misnumbered, but it's 7.3.
great. Okay, job description and salary range for classification of Deputy Director of Community Development.
Okay, so in your packet, you have a staff report as well as a draft job description, and then Sharon Boyd, our Community Development Director, is here tonight. So if you have any technical questions about the position, she is the best person to answer that. But during our fiscal year 25 mid-cycle budget process, the council approved the position of Deputy Director of Community Development to the staffing plan for the Community Development Department. And some of the driving force behind this are the various mandates that continue to be imposed upon the department by the state of California, as well as the need for staff report to implement various city council initiatives and projects. Without having this position, it's really difficult for staff to keep up with the mandates and initiatives and also be responsive to customer needs. We did have this position as part of the Community Development Department prior to COVID, but it was eliminated during our staffing cutbacks. And so since that time, the workload has continued to grow, and there's more and more mandates and projects, and we really do need this higher level position to really focus in and help the department manage the workload, high level research, policy development, development and implementation of complex projects, overseeing and streamlining development services and code enforcement activities, and then implementing various technology enhancements. And then as additional background for the commission, the Community Development Department has a wide range of functions and responsibilities, including planning, building, code enforcement, housing and community services, fire prevention, hazardous materials, and pre-treatment. And their work plan is significant. And again, those mandates keep getting added every year. And there's also core items that are part of the fundamental aspect of the department's purpose. Most of the items in the work plan require a higher level of work as they are complex assignments and tasks associated with a policy or program in development involving legal and procedural functions. So the deputy director will provide the needed capacity and assist with achieving and implementing these work plans items, particularly those that are of a high priority based on council initiatives. Development activity and service demand has also been increasing for the community development department. Revenue development related revenue in fiscal year 24 is 4.5 million versus 3.7 in fiscal year 23 and 3.6 in fiscal year 24. So you can see that development processing within the department has continued to rise. Excuse me. And this revenue represents the different applications and permit fees and the rising volume and scale of development projects. Our code enforcement activities have definitely been on the rise. Many new cases. We had 944 code enforcement cases in 2022, 1,658 in 2023. That's a 76% increase. So that this workload is pretty significant. Some of them are higher level matters that need somebody at the deputy director level to oversee, some of the legal issues associated with code enforcement. And like I said, there's also state mandated processing and turnaround times that staff must meet. And the deputy director is going to be able to assist in overseeing and coordinating the increasing level of our development services and enforcement activities. They will collaborate with the director and the division managers in streamlining services and implementing technology enhancements and automation to increase efficiency for staff as well as customers. We've implemented and gone live with our Intergov land management system, but that requires continued work. And there's also different upgrades and different pieces that can be added to help streamline things even further. So attached to the staff report is the job description for Deputy Director of Community Development, which reflects the higher level work that I was just explaining. This falls into the mid-management employee group. The Gilroy Management Association did review this job description, provided input about the job description. Their suggestions have been incorporated in what's attached to the staff report. The salary range for this mid-management level position is recommended to be $148,624 to $204,136 annually, plus our excellent benefits. And this is the same range assigned to the Deputy Director of Public Works and our building official. And this is the same relative placement that the position had prior to being eliminated because of the COVID reductions. And the increased revenue in the community development department will cover a portion of the cost in this position. So upon Personnel Commission approval of the job description and salary range, Human Resources will begin a recruitment process for this newly funded position. And we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a question. So, in reviewing the skills and abilities, they do reference supervisory and management skills.
Mm-hmm.
The MQs also require 3 years of supervisory experience, but the actual examples of work don't say much about staff management. So how many individuals would this person be responsible for? And do we need to be a little bit more explicit in illustrative examples of work about supervising staff and management of staff?
Sharon, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, so if you kind of look at that general duty, that first paragraph, and then probably number 3, because as Leah mentioned, which is what we discussed, our department covers such a wide range of functions, so I'm really kind of trying to give some flexibility, so depends on the person's background, experience, and skills, have the person help oversee the divisions. That will be the most effective for the whole team. So they, it's going to depend on the candidate, and then the different divisions and activities will be assigned accordingly. So they'll supervise whichever is appropriate. To that.
I think in number 3,
Yeah.
Maybe we could be a little more specific and say, provide oversight and direction to community development department services, activities, and programs as assigned, which may include management and supervision of staff in planning, building, code enforcement, fire prevention, hazardous materials pretreatment, or housing and community services.
And you allude to it in 4 too, right? When you
Mhm.
say assign work
Yeah.
activities, it just,
And
it's
management.
never explicit about staff management and like how many, you know, you don't have to say specifically how many staff they're responsible for, but just in terms of, we kind of allude to it, but I just feel like it's not.
Does that wording help?
Yeah.
By adding management
Yeah.
and supervision of,
Yeah.
which may include management and supervision staff. Okay,
Thank you. Yeah, that was the only.
no, I think that makes it more clear. And it talks about in 14, provide and coordinate staff training, conduct performance evaluations and
Yep.
discipline procedures.
Are there any comments or questions from the public? Any other questions from the committee or comments from the committee?
I'll make a motion to approve with the revision to language that we just discussed. For the Deputy Director of Community Development, job description and salary range.
And I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item 7.4. Approve job description and salary range for Housing and Community Development Coordinator and reclassification to position.
And it should say Housing and Community Services Coordinator.
Okay.
I got development in my head. I was trying to make sure I use services, but that's what we're moving away from. Okay, so there's 3 recommended actions this evening. 1 is to approve a job description for Housing and Community Services Coordinator. 2 is to approve a salary range for Housing and Community Services Coordinator. And then 3 is to approve the reclassification of our current Housing and Community Development Technician 2, Sandra Nava, to the position of Housing and Community Services Coordinator. So again, this was during our fiscal year 25 mid-cycle budget process. The council approved including the position of Housing and Community Services Coordinator to replace the Housing and Community Development Technician 1-2 position in the Community Development Department. And this change was recommended due to the more complex coordination, outreach, and technical work associated with the work being performed by this position. The coordinator will perform a variety of technical and professional activities that create and implement housing programs and resources to support long-term housing stability, affordability for the community, including our unhoused and vulnerable residents. And there are some examples of things that this position will do, to include planning and coordinating our community development block grant program and implementing the Department of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD regulations. These are pretty complex, and you have to abide by a variety of different rules and policies in order to get this funding. And so we make sure we put a high priority on that, because that funding is super important for the programs and services that we provide to many of our residents here in Gilroy. This position will partner with public agencies and nonprofit organizations, implementing different grant programs to provide housing and resources for a diverse community. They'll collaborate and support our Housing and Community Services Manager to create programs that focus on affordable housing production, preservation, and protection of residents, including a network of services focusing on unhoused efforts. If you recall, about, I don't know, a year or maybe a little more than a year ago, we developed the Housing and Community Services Manager position. That was a new position that we included in the fiscal year 24 and 25 budget. And we have that position filled, and then that's been organized into the Housing and Community Services Division. So this reclassification is a piece of that whole reorganization that we developed and have been implementing as part of the fiscal year 24 and 25 budget. So the coordinator will also work on tenant and property management for an affordable housing development, as well as our below market rate housing program. They will also plan community education events, conduct outreach, and then representing the city at these events to make sure we're sharing information with the community about the resources that we have for our residents. So the job description that's attached to this staff report is reflective of this additional and enhanced work that has developed over a period of time. It's not like it just happened overnight. Over time, the technician was taking on this additional work and duties. And so it was time to relook at the job description and see if this should move into something a little bit higher level. And so we believe that all these different programs will be continuing into the future. And this coordinator position, coupled with the manager that we have, will help us to be proactive in providing these important housing services for our community. The salary range for this position is proposed to be 94,111 to 132,423 annually, plus our excellent benefits. This is the same salary range that is assigned to the classifications of planner one, accountant, building inspector, hazardous materials inspector, and code enforcement officer. We did not get any feedback from the AFSCME group on this particular job description, so I'm assuming that it was good to go. And it is recommended that our current housing and community development technician two, Sandra Nava, be reclassified to this replacement position. Like I said, over time, Sandra has taken on this higher level coordination work associated with this position. She works collaboratively, both inside the city organization and with our not-for-profit organizations throughout the community. Again, this work is not going away as these programs continue to change and expand. And we have to be creative and find new ways to deliver services to our vulnerable populations within the community, as traditional housing ownership has really gotten so far out of reach for so many people. With the mid-cycle budget process, council approved the net cost of the reclassification from the same funding sources that we use for the technician position, which are through our CDBG program admin, our housing trust fund, and the general fund. So upon the Personnel Commission approval of the job description and salary range, Human Resources will complete the reclassification process for the employee. And Sharon's also here because this also falls in her department, and either one of us are happy to answer any questions.
Is there any public comment regarding the job description and salary range and reclassification? Any comments or questions from the committee, or the commission, I'm sorry? Okay,
I move to approve the job description for housing and community service coordinator. Can we do all three? At the same
Yeah, you sure can.
time? Okay, and the salary range for housing and community service coordinator. And the reclassification of housing and community development technician to Sandra Nava to the position of housing and community services coordinator.
I will second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate that for Sandra. I appreciate the recognition of her work as well.
Item number 8, future personnel commission business.
So I have a few things on the future personnel commission business list. Welcome newly appointed personnel commissioners. I hope we have some for the next meeting since we're losing one tonight. And then we have a couple other job descriptions that we're working on. The senior maintenance worker for wastewater and the senior maintenance worker for street stormwater and drainage and trees. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the police department working on some different updates to their job descriptions because some of them hadn't been updated and there were some legal changes such as the U.S. citizen requirement that we have to make sure all of our job descriptions are in compliance with. Since that's a legal mandate, I just remove it from our job postings. So our job postings are fine, but we have to clean up the job description as well. We'll be appointing a chair and a vice chair at our next meeting, I hope. And then we'll continue to work on the work plan and training, as I mentioned earlier, so that we incorporate what we need in the budget for the work of this commission. So those are some future items that will be coming through the pipeline.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, can we agendize what was just the public comment from today for the next meeting?
Sure, if you would like to, we
Yeah.
can discuss what's in your purview.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the minimum of the personnel commission needs to be four, but a quorum. But do you have a maximum that you have?
3 is a quorum
Oh.
and 5 is the maximum for the commission. And then going back to putting the discussion about the senior civil engineer position on the vacancy, or vacancy on the agenda, is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, so then we are adjourning our meeting at 6:01 PM.
And we're adjourning our meeting tonight. In special thanks to Commissioner Robin Bronze. We want to thank her for her service to the city of Gilroy as a personnel commissioner. You really stuck it out. And given that we didn't have folks that wanted to serve on this commission, which I don't know why, because I think it's a fun commission. We're so glad that you stayed with us and that you've continued to help us and you've been very supportive. And I really, really appreciate your time and the work that you put into the commission. And then I also really appreciate that you have stepped up and helped us on different hiring panels when we've had to do different recruitments, and you have very insightful comments because we are here to serve the citizens of Gilroy, and you put your citizen of Gilroy hat on when you're sitting in there looking at this, the group of candidates that we're considering for a position to make sure that we're hiring people that are going to be the folks that are the face of the city of Gilroy and out providing services to our community. And that is just so important. And you've really helped to be that person who is kind of the check and balance for that piece of the selection
And I'm willing to
process.
continue on any of those. that you need.
Great, that's excellent. So anyway, we wanted to thank you tonight. And if I can, I'd like to present you with a plaque.
Again,
So we want to thank you for your service from June of 2019 to January of 2025. Thank you for volunteering your time and for your valuable contributions to the city of Gilroy, the community, our employees, and the Human Resources Department from the city of Gilroy.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thanks, guys. Girls.
All right, that officially ends the meeting. I'm going to turn off the recording.
Okay.